Mic check. We live. So what we doing tonight? Lo-fi or soca island mix? Think we're doing lo-fi by 100%. Who knows how many y'all voted? What's it say here? 2 votes. Fair enough. We're gonna ride it out with some lo-fi. It's Friday. Hope y'all had a good week. All right, let's go. Salutations, salute everybody. How we doing? How we doing? Melanated math this evening. It is Friday. Welcome to the show. You know what? I'm gonna throw a date out there. It is Friday, March the 20th, 2026. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's your boy C.I.P. Oh, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Very uncomfortable word. Some of y'all not feeling, but that's okay because you're adults. You can take it. Full Diddy. Keep your feelings at the door. Check them in at the coat check. Your boy CIP is going to be flagrant as always, but even more so this evening as we talk about mental eugenics. We're going to be following this series all 2026, examining life from CIP's perspective. Melanated math, inherited by Homath. He is our benefactor for the idea, spawned from that wonderful genius's content. We have our own melanated variety. Over here, it's not just based on relationships. We're not just gonna fall to the lowest common denominator discussions. Do a little bit more than that. All right. In the chat this evening, we got Mr. Pooh Man. What's up, my G? Thank you so much for being here. 10 Veils, sis. What's good? Got your slice of pizza? You good to go? Mr. All My Hoes Demonetized. CIP ain't ish. Is that what we got? Is that what we're doing tonight? Is that what we're doing tonight? I'll take that. I ain't gonna be shit tonight at all. They're gonna be mad at me. They're gonna be mad at me. Death Reaper, I seen you, bro. Death the Reaper. You snuck in, you snuck out. One love, G, one love. So where are we gonna start? No montage this evening, just a quick start, quick intro. But before we get to that, we always gotta do what we gotta do. We're flipping the script for 2026, and we're starting off with something to give you to think about before we go into the content. Nothing is true and everything is permitted. Nothing is true and everything is permitted. You are permitted to do and seek anything and everything in the world. It's all at your disposal. Seek knowledge and evolve, my friends. That is all I ask of you. We have enough in our daily lives, but the main mission for each one of us should be to seek knowledge and evolve. The world around us is not an absolute reality. Everyone has their tilt on things. Everyone has their bias. The world around us is not an absolute reality. Your reality is subjective to what you choose to explore. What you limit yourself to and experience is your own responsibility. To cap that off, I ask, a very small thing of you, please choose wisely as you explore this world. You only have one life to live. Life is short, my friends. Now, as we go into the show this evening, I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about this one other thing. You don't know who you really are until you're knocked out your default frame. That's when you're challenged. That's when you're really pushed. All right? Lee Turner, my G, what's good? I seen you sneak in. All right, everybody. Pooh Man, catch the playback, my G. We'll talk soon. Let's get this show started.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been legit. If I was you, I would cut up my wrist.
Fuck, that's right, your boy C.I.P. Your boy C.I.P. He back. What's good, everybody? Salutations, salute, sakafet to all my beautiful people from all corners of the world. How y'all doing this evening? It is not an insomnia. It is a regularly scheduled program. Tonight is Melanated Math. And we going back into that oh so uncomfortable word. Comfortable for me, rolls right off the tongue. Eugenics. That's right, mental eugenics. So, before we get started, your boy's got a lot on his mind. We got a lot to talk about. We got 3 reacts. I can count 3 reacts. One is, I think, going to be a very, very good one and is going to express a different dimension to how you think about C.I.P. and the flagrant episodes that we are currently exploring together regarding eugenics and the Black community, the community that looks like me in various different shades, right? So here stateside, we will explore that with the assistance of, now we said we weren't going to talk about relationships, but that is not where this gentleman is only one-dimensional. Our benefactor, Mr. Homath, is getting into the psychology of who we are and what puts us in these predicaments like the relationship things. So our benefactor, Mr. Homath, has his new tilt on things, psychomath. So we're going to explore some psychomath this evening. Then we're going to go into the main event. The main event, y'all. It's going to be a good one, right? We got Professor Black Truth to react to. Those of you who are familiar with Professor Black Truth know his stance here in the streets, the YouTube streets. Your boy C.I.P. and Professor Black Truth very well may be different sides of the same coin. Very well may be. And I think there's something to be learned from that. As always, each day you learn something, you teach something. I think there's something to be learned from that. We're going to explore that together as the finale. But before we get to all of that, I need y'all to please understand y'all are here for a reason. And
God don't make no mistakes.
You ain't said nothing slick to a can of oil.
Thank you, and I thank the good people of Nepal. You don't even know what you did, but you're brilliant anyway, because the brilliance is the best brilliance is brilliance born not from someone ignorant.
that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here, for supporting the channel. All right. And in the audience, we have Mr. All My Hoes Demonetized, already starting mess as he walks into the chat saying that CIP ain't ish. Mr. All My Hoes Demonetized, the producer of Soca Sundays. That's right, 2026 is in the books, y'all. It's in the books. It's already cashed in the books. We are going to have a phenomenal Soca Sundays season, all 2026. It's all due to Mr. All My Hoes Demonetized. Sir, thank you once again for being a friend of the show, producer of Soca Sundays, and an upright gentleman. Thank you, sir. All right. So now that that's all out of the way, Nightbot will be in the chat. I'm hoping. Nightbot's working this evening. Sometimes she's working, sometimes she's not. She's got her own emotions. She's allowed to do what she wants to. She is our friendly neighborhood bot after all. But listen to Nightbot. She's got some great things to talk about. Pooh Man, also my moderator extraordinaire, has already dropped the links in the chat. Join the Discord. That's where you get all the newest and up-to-date information. Also on the Discord, we've got food, self-promotion. If you're a content creator, come over to the Discord, promote your channel, promote what you do. All right. We got sports, automotive, mind and body, spirituality, knowledge, books, finance, gaming. Now, not just gaming as in video games, Rubik's Cubes, puzzles, Legos, everything that makes us human, that we enjoy, our hobbies. Your boy CIP has a massive amount of hobbies, massive amount. I am not a one-dimensional man, and I put all that energy out into that Discord. So please stop by the Discord, join that. Multiple channels. Cruise with Culture is now known as Culture in Paradise. That's right, we're changing everything up. We are keeping the CIP brand across all the channels. Cat and Poncho for gaming. Culture Invasion podcast right here for the social commentary and the Soca Sundays. And then we have Culture in Paradise. That is going to be tilted toward travel, men who travel, classy, right? Classy gentlemen. And we're also going to explore, well, where I'm from as well. I did a lot of that dual streaming over there on that channel as well when I was overseas. So yeah, there's going to be a lot on all of the channels. Please subscribe. Please subscribe if you are new. And to my new subscribers, thank you. All right. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for spending your time with me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you greatly. Big up yourselves. All right. We got a lot tonight, y'all. Now, I do have this studio. I'm getting my feet wet again. So I do have the studio set up. Give me 1 second here. I do have everything set up. Again, when you're on vacation and you come back, sometimes you got to get reacclimated. So everything's back up and running the way it should be. Let's see. Yeah, you like Culture in Paradise? Yeah, I think it fits better. Your boy always overthinks things. Thinks through things 4, 5, and 6 times. Critical thinker. So I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I can keep this all with the same brand, CIP. Makes a lot more sense. All right, my friends. How's everybody doing this evening? How was your work week? My work week was really shitty, but then it turned out in the end to be all right. Turned out to be all right. I got some news that was very, very pleasurable, in the sense that have a little more autonomy. Which is good. I'm a grown up. I know what the fuck I'm doing in the workplace. You wouldn't be paying me bazillions of dollars a year, whatever that wage may be, to be fucking around on your time. Just, you wouldn't be, because I wouldn't hire somebody to fuck off on my time. So, I don't know. The way businesses run these days, it all seems like it's smoke and mirrors. It's all a dog and pony show. You know, they just using businesses as fronts to just move their money in the back end, and just doesn't matter how it's done. Quick and dirty, get it done. Another observation is these high-level individuals, and it's probably an oversight on my part because I'm not in that arena. I only fuck with these people and meet them in public and rub my elbows with them. But these schmucks that are these high-level fucks, it seems to me that, you know, you're taught like you're like a little baby potato spud, and then you grow and you grow and you grow, and then you become a big tree. You become this gigantic source of knowledge and wisdom, and you aspire to be these gigantic roles of CEO and right? So, you know, I'm somewhere in the mature tree phase, on my way up the ladder, right? So I'm one of those nice mature trees. You're like, man, that tree been here for like 100 years, right? Along the way, along my journey, I gained knowledge. I learned how to tinker with this. I'm an IT guy. So let's just be transparent. I learned how to work on networks. I learned how to maintain systems. I learned how to work on databases. I learned how to develop and script a little bit. I learned all the basic fundamentals that make any good business viable, resilient. And it seems to me that I got to where I'm at and stepped out of those trenches because I learned those trenches and was able to prove my merit and excel to management after years of project work. But it seems like the fucks higher up, like just fall from the motherfucking sky, don't know shit about process fundamentals, technical fundamentals, just oblivious to some of the most basic architectural and process related fundamentals within this business. Oblivious. Ask some of the most asinine ass backwards questions. I certainly hope that strategy is their strong point, because knowledge of what the fuck the businesses do historically, I'm not picking on anybody in particular. This is historic. This is across the motherfucking board. You can take that however you want to take it. But these fucks are worthless as far as I'm concerned. So when you look at their value, their worth, their merit, and the fact that they really are just pushing money around. The emperor has no clothes. The emperor has no clothes. Anybody intelligent should be saying the same thing. But see, we make friends, you know, you want to be in good with the people that look like you. We're going to talk about that in a minute. You want to make good with the people that look just like you. You never know when you might need somebody because you can't stand on your own. You're worthless as an individual. So identity politics plays the major role here. Do they really feel something about me? They don't give a fuck about you, bro. They don't give a fuck about you. Just like we're seeing a shift in tech jobs. It's not just the AI taking our jobs, but it's the overseas consultants taking our jobs. Elephant in the room, but Asia's running circles around you, America. They are contracting everything to Asia. thank you, come again is all over every back end of every organization. Take that how you want it. I've been sounding alarms on this channel for 3 years. Either in my oh so flagrant way and manner, or when I take a moment to be a little more circumscriptive and instructive. I've been sounding the alarm for a long time. Long time. Horse to water, though. Horse to water. And like my other show title is, This is America. Y'all are free to do whatever you want, right? So for tonight, though, have you thought about it? Have you thought about a moment when you were knocked off your default frame and you really had to examine who you are? When you were really challenged, you were really pushed. How did you come out on the other side? Did you come out stronger and not just a survivor? I'm a survivor. Everybody leans on that. I'm a survivor. Well, I'm a survivor. Do you have tools now? Mental tools, physical tools, emotional tools. Have you built those up? Or are you just surviving? Just kicking the can of life down the road? Just barely maintaining? Those experiences taint your views. Those experiences taint all of our views. My experiences, me dealing with them or not. Your experiences, you dealing with them or not. But we prefer shortcuts. Yeah, fuck that. Fuck them emotions. Fuck all that. Fuck the work that I have to do to repair and heal myself. Heal, right? We're all about healing. I'm working on myself. Are you really? Are you fucking really? Bitch babble is not action. Bitch babble is not action. Clip that. Improving ourselves, fixing ourselves takes work. But you don't want to do that. So what does it do? It manifests itself into anger because you are being taken out of your comfort zone. It manifests itself in anger. It manifests itself into recalcitrance. It manifests itself into a lack of accountability. An absolute lack of accountability. That lack of accountability, the fact that we ignore and we don't fix, well, here we are. The end result. Apathy. Apathy fueled by cortisol. The next buzz. The next hit. Meth heads spike. Baby mamas spike because the next hit is hitting some ass. That feels good. I don't have to worry about anything. I can get drunk and go, fuck this bitch. Right? Pookie? Nah, nigga, what you doing? Nah, man, I'm getting fucked up. I done worked all week, man. Fuck that shit. Apathy, mental apathy, cultural apathy, religious apathy, social apathy. I've watched grown men sit around and cry about a woman divorcing them instead of them picking themselves up and getting a better motherfucking lawyer instead of a public defender and dog walking that bitch and keeping their goddamn kids and doing something real. Just ball up, bitch up, turn into a pile of motherfucking spaghetti on the floor and drown themselves in some Hennessy. My mama beat me. My girlfriend beat me. My baby mama beat me. What are we doing? And then we shut it off. We don't deal with the situations. We don't fix the situations. We don't do the work. Work is difficult. When you go to the gym and you work out, do your muscles not burn? Now, if you are a bitch and you're not really doing work at the gym, Maybe you don't know what I'm talking about. But when you go to the gym and it's leg day, most y'all skip, it's leg day, and you get those first 15 squats in, your little piddly shit chicken legs ain't shaking, bro. You don't want to give up, bro? You just gonna beast through it? How many are you gonna get? I'm gonna 200, 300, 400. No, bro, no, you're not. It's going to hurt. You're gonna have to ramp up to that. It's gonna burn. The next morning, you're probably gonna have to ice your knees down because you're old and out of shape. I know this. At 48 years old, I turned my life around and started working on my health. I know what it is to feel the burn. I know what it is to feel the pain of recovery, of your muscles tearing themselves apart and rebuilding themselves so that you can maintain a healthy lifestyle. It takes work. Guess what else takes work? Being a socially responsible individual. Maintaining a balance in life and not over indulging in fuckery. Every day, the algorithm on YouTube is pure hate and fuckery. Thousands upon thousands of views. Hate and fuckery. Hate for the other gender. Hate for families. Hate for life. The things that are good in life. 9 times out of 10, apathy. We don't care. It's normal. It's my fun. Who the fuck are you, culture, talking about my fun? How dare you? Why are you worried about what other motherfuckers do? Because other motherfucker, if your piece of shit bastard ass gremlin comes across me, he's not going to live. That's why I'm trying to prevent that from happening. And then guess what? I'm taking you to court. I'm taking you to court for giving birth to that little piece of shit bastard. Now, if we avoid this situation altogether and we raise better children, well, then we don't have to use these kinds of examples about your little bastard children. Do we? Do we? But 9 times out of 10, it's apathy. 9 times out of 10, it's apathy. I'm not worried about what the fuck that kid do, what they parents do. I'm not worried about what that preacher do. I'm not worried about what Glorilla do. The culture, what we intake, the entertainment. Social identity. In fact, the identity in saying, well, Glorilla is black. Why are you trying to down a black woman? Meg Thee Stallion is black. Why are you trying to down a black woman? They entertainers. That's entertaining. You identify with that blackness, don't you? You love that blackness. You love it. Identity-based politics and thinking is literally the bottom of the barrel. You are literally the bottom of the barrel. Well, I'm an FBA. Well, I'm an ADOS. Well, I'm black. Well, I'm Afro. And that's how you live your life. That's all you are. That's all you live your motivations in life based upon. That is what you identify yourself as. First and foremost, you are the bottom of the motherfucking barrel because all you're using is feelings and no cognition to separate yourself. Eugenics. Separate yourself, eugenics, from the other fucks that are leading our people off a fucking cliff. But you want to say, oh, they black. We supposed to support them. Oh, you not black because you talk against them. By the way, y'all, welcome to the show again. I did not introduce myself properly. It's your boy C.I.P, the double. That's right, I'm a double Tether now. I'm a double immigrant. Because your boy C.I.P went to the home of his father and gain citizenship there. I have citizenship in the United States. That's a double tether. Let's fucking go. And I know you holier than thou, blackity McBlack FBA fucks can't stand me. Fuck you. Fuck you. Because I'm right. And I'm one step ahead. All right, back to the show. When you don't challenge your identity, when you just sit around and all you fucks do is say, oh, wait, who do you got here? What's this? Kamala had Megan Thee Stallion perform and Biden invited Glorilla to the White House. So the Democrats reach to the bottom of the barrel. They absolutely do, because they know you niggas is going to say, oh, that's somebody black. That's somebody black. Oh, that's somebody black. Martin Luther the King. It's this February. Martin Luther the King. Malcolm the X. These fucks couldn't even put Jesse in the ground before they had to open their motherfucking mouth. And you niggas will follow them off a motherfucking cliff because they black. We ain't got nobody else. Remember Tulsa. Right? Remember Tulsa. Don't get me started on fucking Tulsa. Fuck Tulsa. Fuck Tulsa. Fuck Tulsa, fuck the niggas that live there, and fuck the crackers that burned it down. How's that? How about we, as individuals in 2026, rebuild that shit? Right? But that's work. You fucks are too selfish. You fucks are too consumed with gaining attention because you want likes on your fucking Facebook page. So all you gonna do every February, Martin Luther the King. You see this picture of this nigga? He got his back whipped by the white man. Oh, Martin Luther the King. Tulsa.
Boy, stop.
Fuck out of here. You fucks will never evolve. Identity politics. That's all you can identify with, your feelings. You're sheep, and you will always be sheep. You will always be at the bottom of the barrel. You're welcome. The half-breed Tether has always been right. You're welcome. Oh, Nightbot. You decided to show up. Nightbot's finally showed up. Nightbot, what you doing, Nightbot? Let's go. Woo, y'all. Diplomatico rum in the cup. YSL on your boy. That is the fragrance of the evening. And that is the rum of the evening. Diplomatico. We got the 15-year going. Let's get a little react going. How about that? There we go. So this evening, we're going to start off with some home math. Our boy, he's back. He's back, baby. We got home math. So the first thing we're going to talk about is being too comfortable. Because you fucks are way too comfortable. Not y'all. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Invaders, subscribers. If you are new and you are digging it, come on and hit that like, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. For the invaders that are here, y'all already know what the deal is. You know not to get too comfortable. You know to seek knowledge and evolve. Y'all know what we do over here. So let's take a look at what Mr. Home Math is bringing to us. Excellent. All right. And everybody, that is the lo-fi sounds of Mr. Jay Tillman. Go show your boy Jay Tillman some love. He is here on YouTube. Somebody drop Jay Tillman's link for me in the chat when you get a second, if you would, please, moderators. All right, y'all. Where are we? We are with home math. Too comfortable. Now, let's do a quick sound check here. Want to make sure y'all can hear this. Let's go.
Would you attack the police until they shoot you in the face to protect scammers from Somalia? Well, she would, allegedly. But why? Why would anyone do that? And where do people like this come from? This story was all over the news this week. Renee Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent for interfering with their duties, allegedly. People who do crazy things like this, allegedly.
I'm forgetting myself. Y'all know who Homath is. I know you do. If you don't know, now you know. Homath is a content creator here on the YouTubes. He's history's manliest and most hilarious sex genius. That's right. Go ahead, subscribe to Homath. Homath is the benefactor that has provided inspiration for melanated math over here on C.I.P. That is where your boy C.I.P. gets all of his flagrant ideas from for this series. So go check out your boy Homath. He's got some great content. We about to explore it here now. That's it for the plug for my boy. Let's go.
Only exist because when people are too comfortable for too long, they get all fat and retarded. Human beings work really hard to create...
Wait, say that again. People do what when they get too comfortable for too long? There's a lot of privilege in the United States. How many different programs, baby mama programs for the kid that the baby mama had, programs for the kid to get food, programs for the kid to get school, programs for the program.
Only exist because when people are too comfortable...
Then we turned around and we had the nerve to fucking build programs for illegal aliens. I said it the way the fuck I did. Because my family are immigrants. They went through the right process. Programs for fucking everybody. Democrats just giving fucking money away. Mind you, they're skimming off the top. That's how they keep their money. Whatever. We're not here for politics. Let's continue. Let's talk about how fucking stupid these privileged fucks get, Mr. Homath, Psychomath.
Only exist because when people are too comfortable for too long, they get all fat and retarded. Human beings work really hard to create nice things, and then the stupid ones start thinking the nice things.
Men create realities, women bend reality to fit their emotions. Say I'm wrong.
Things are free because they've never done any work. This is the cycle of collapse. And if you don't do real work, you never grow up. And no one's doing real work these days. And so more and more people are remaining in these childish, egotistical levels of development. This woman was basically an overgrown baby, and she didn't know what she was doing, allegedly. There are two things going on here. Number one is that a lot of liberals are just not capable of empathy. They think they are, but they're actually just hallucinating that the entire world either shares their values or is the devil. So this kind of liberal wants love and free healthcare for all, so the liberal imagines through psychological projection that everyone who comes here from the third world also wants love and free healthcare for all.
Let me tell you something. I have a friend that I was talking to about the Caribbean, about Latin America. They had the nerve to say to me, the reason why I'm fascinated with my history and culture and traveling there, moving there, is because their women don't have rights. Caribbean women, please chime in. Please leave comments under this video. Tell me all about the lack of rights that you have, don't have. Tell me all about it. Tell the world about it. Because it is this liberal, retarded, frankly, perspective that holds so many people back. That's why you fucks don't leave your backyards. Your liberal fucks poisoned. Like America's the best place on earth. You don't travel. Say you don't travel without saying you don't travel.
All. Whereas in reality, a lot of people from the third world are still at an opportunistic level of development, which means whatever I can get away with. You probably heard about the Somalian daycare scams that cost Minnesota billions of dollars. That's opportunistic, or level 3. They want control, they want power, they want to gain You're giving them billions of dollars for nothing, and the
Incompatibility.
Democrats allow it because they want the Somalian vote. Conservatives tend to understand this better than liberals or nothing, and the Democrats allow it because they want the Somalian vote. Conservatives tend to understand this better than liberals. They actually have empathy. So here's the conservative thinking, my family and my country should come first. And then when he thinks about what the third world thinks, that's thinking about thinking, he understands that a lot of them are just not like us at all and also not very friendly. But the liberal, who is just in love with his own wonderfulness, he assumes that everybody in the world wants the same things he wants. And that's not empathy, that's a projection. That's what happens when your empathy is developed to the level of a 3-year-old because you've never had to do anything difficult in your pathetic life.
Thank you. Thank you. And in this day and age of privilege, it doesn't matter who you are. This is a white dude doing this, right? I'm a black dude talking to my black audience. You specifically, black audience. Doesn't fucking matter. You don't do shit. You don't do shit. You don't experience anything. And he's going to explain where you are mentally. Facts are facts. Look around you. Look how fascinated you are with the most remedial shit on the internet. And you don't even look deeper into the topics and seek knowledge like I ask your dumbasses to. You simply scroll and listen to the voice of the first fuck you hear. Echo chamber of sheep, because they look like you.
At this low level of empathy, you're going to assume that everybody has the same desires as you, or they're just a bad guy like Darth Vader. And now you understand liberals and why they hate you for caring about your country. They think that you are being mean to the innocent babies who just want free healthcare. That type of liberal is either a retarded psychopath or a retarded psychopath with a fake degree in gay crying or victim studies. This video is not going to cover the regular psychopaths, the people who call themselves classical liberals who actually just don't know what century it is, or the naive white boomers who think that being nice makes people be nice back. The other kind of retarded psychopaths, which is to say not the naive ones, are bratty entitled women and their simps, which is how this relates to our dating breakdown.
And bratty entitled women and simps are the #1 most dangerous fucks in the modern West. Period. Simps are the most dangerous pieces of shit. You simp bastards are some of the most dangerous men because you're controlled by pussy. You are literally the bottom of the barrel mentally. You are lit. It's not loneliness, bro. You are the bottom of the barrel. You are the fucking bottom of the barrel.
Women like Renee have been told that they are all tens all the time for so long that they can't even conceptualize being wrong. They just make demands and wait for them. And if they don't get their way, then they try to run over the cops. These are the times we live in. About 48% of white women, usually the fat, ugly, insane ones, are actually...
They're all fat and ugly. They got different color fucking hair. They're ugly. They got 3 and 4 fucking chins. They're shaped like fucking pears. They're disgusting. It's like fucking Jabba the Hutt's fucking clan. It's fucking disgusting.
Using their political power to make sure...
The Keishas look just like them. I mean, it's like status quo, just brat bitch. Just status quo. Doesn't matter. Pick your fucking color. Y'all are so fucking tribal anyway. Pick your fucking color. You'll find a fucking bitch that acts like this.
Sure that anyone in the world can walk into your country and steal from you. And it's all because we let them become a bunch of spoiled brats and naive little children. Remember to like, share, follow, subscribe, and click the link in my bio for all my stuff.
And where do naive little children wind up when they fuck with ice? Hey, it's up to you how you want to live your life. Shout out to Homath. Once again, Mr. Homath, the benefactor of melanated math. Used to be melanated Homath. I think that's what I used to call it. But we don't want to we want to use the word ho. You know, that could be ostracizing because there's so many out there. Trying to get all the subscribers I can. Just kidding. I don't give a fuck. This is a hobby. Anyway, everyone, please pay attention to Nightbot. Join me over on Rumble. Nightbot is botting tonight. Next up, Baby Talk. Now, this one's going to take a little bit of time. This is our 20-minute Homath React. Fair use as always. We're going to deal with awfuls, all right? So they're called awfuls if they're white. But believe me, there are awful black women as well. So we are going to apply the rules as needed to the audience, right? To society, all right? To society, not to y'all, to society. Let's go.
If you're immediately reprimanding instead of listening and understanding, if you're offended by people's lived experiences, you're the problem. Oh!
You are the modern woman. You are in your car. Life does not feel quite right. Something is missing. You check the mirror to make sure it's not your meticulously applied makeup. It's not. You look fabulous. You are the modern woman, and you have an urge you can't quite put into words. You let the urge run through you. You ask it what it wants. It wants to play peekaboo games, but there is no baby here. You have aborted all of your babies and ghosted all of the men who might have proposed to you because you are the modern woman. You take out your phone. Who is here? Who can I find in the phone to play peekaboo? What do they want to hear? You are the modern woman, so your mind floods with feelings of victimization. Women are victims. Minorities, 93% of the global population, are victims. The phone wants to hear about how much you love victims. And it wants to hear this as if it's the baby you refused to have. You are the modern woman, so you recall a children's song and you change the words to show that you know how bad white people are, and men, and white men. You sing your victimhood nursery rhyme into your phone.
Or offended by minorities talking about their lived experiences, you're the problem. If you're offended by women saying they're afraid of men, you're the problem. If you're immediately reprimanding instead of listening and understanding, if you're offended by people's lived experiences, you're the problem.
Could you imagine marrying someone like this? I mean, just think for a minute. Could you imagine marrying someone so intolerable? Like, look at the face. That's a horrible pause, by the way, but I mean, still.
You clap your hands. You make ugly faces. You roll your eyes. You hit 'em with the double henpeck bird hand special. The old 1-2. You upload the documentation of your hysterical phantom pregnancy meltdown into the glossy black void. And you
Absolutely.
wait. Someone likes you. Someone loves you. Someone has paid attention to you. You are the modern woman, and this is the happiest that you will ever be.
It is.
Modern liberal white women are not okay. They have changed into something called the awful. That's affluent white female urban liberal. This insanity is...
And the same could be applied to black women. We're just going to leave it at that. We have our own insanity. This is the eugenics mental health episode. These are the people that we need to stop fucking with. We need to move forward in life, and we need to rebuild. Doesn't matter what race you are. We need to leave these people behind.
Is a consequence of the information.
Eugenics all 2026. Gee, Honda, what's good, bro?
age. These young women are being bombarded with emotional content, and it's making them lash out at the men they should be supporting. The internet has warped the mind of the awful, and they're supposed to be having babies, but they're not, so they're just treating everything like it's a baby, including men, especially white men, and it's making us hate each other. These women want to appear like they know better than you, but awfuls are actually losing their grip on reality. They don't even know what their feelings are telling them to do. This one is teaching Uncle.
You know what? You ask a really, really, really good question. It's kind of a loaded question, G Honda, but it is an honest question nonetheless. What form of delineation do we need? Let me tell you, bro, I dissed my whole family, and I'll diss them to their face. And if they're within an earshot of this podcast, they know. Everyone has a place. Bars. Boundaries. Healthy boundaries. Tell you something. I told a story on my podcast last night, in fact. Healthy boundaries. Everybody, because of the fact that I don't have kids, because of the fact that I'm single, because of the fact that I'm successful, meaning I work a steady job, because that's not normal in the black community. At least it's not normal in the black community that is pretty much central fucking Ohio. When you're working a fucking job, every scab in your fucking family comes out the fucking woodwork. I had a neighbor last week, come up to me, Somali dude, knowing he's on Section 8, and I know that because he talks too much shit, so I know his business. Knowing he's on Section 8, knowing he's got his niece living with him, knowing he's getting assistance, and she's got a special needs kid probably getting assistance. This motherfucker had the nerve to walk up to my door and ask me to front him $30 on a Cash App. These are the type of people you don't fuck with. When your life is going good, you don't go back to the hood. Bars. You don't do it. This is that whole identity problem. This is that whole we remain where the fuck we are. Because we want to just suck the asshole of the next black motherfucker that looks like us, full diddy, because y'all are some faggots about this shit. You want to be all up the ass of everybody that looks like you, even when they're leading you into damnation for the simple fact that they're black. Because you're too stupid to grow up and seek better for yourself. You want to remain in the gutter. You want to remain a lowest of the totem pole, the bottom of the mental pyramid. That's where you want to exist. Because it's easy to be lazy. It's easy to be lazy. It hurt to tell my family to fuck off, but then I felt better. It hurt at first. Damn. But then I was like, well, they really didn't give a fuck, did they? Because they didn't. A brother used me for $15,000. Fuck him. A brother's jeopardized his own children. Fuck him. That's how you delineate. And you mean it. And you stand on your square. And you exist as a strong individual beside the fuckery. Not in it. And you don't allow the fuckery to fuck with you. That's how you delineate. You mean what the fuck you say and you stand on something. Because if you're weak and you're a piece of shit still and you ain't prepared, well, you're just going to fail. You ain't shit. So know who the fuck you are too. That's all I got to say about that. That's all I got to say about that.
Uncle Mark how to respect pronouns, even though Uncle Mark isn't listening. He's not on TikTok. And this is what she sounds like.
Nope. They are telling you who they are. You just need to use your listening ears, friend.
Uncle Mark was probably in Vietnam. His listening ears are listening for something else. If women like this and this think they qualify as moral leadership for people like Uncle Mark, that's pretty sad. But the truth is a lot more sad. This beaver was born in captivity. He has never been in a river, but he's building a dam out of whatever he can find for a river that isn't there. Because beavers build dams. That is what they do. And women nurture children. That is what they do. But they no longer have children, so they are scolding children that aren't there, in front of a camera, for an audience. Sometimes a caged bird will pull out all of its feathers. Captive lions or bears sometimes walk in little circles all day. A bird in a cage has a beak it's not using. It's gotta peck something. A bear in a cage has feet it's not using. It's gotta walk somewhere. And modern women have mother instincts that they're not using. They have to mother something.
Oops.
The beaver made a dam out of SpongeBob because that's the closest thing there was to a stick. The bear walks back and forth because that's the only place there is to walk. And awfuls, affluent white female urban liberals, lecture us like we're babies because we're the only thing in their lives they're allowed to talk down to. Modern women grew up surrounded by images of pathetic men who need to be corrected by the women in their lives, and then they went out into the real world and found that white men were at the bottom of the status hierarchy for some reason. The reason remains a spooky mystery. And just like a beaver is identifying things that you can carry, women are identifying things that deserve. For example, this guy does not need to be spoken to like a special needs child, but some of these guys might, and probably everyone from here down. Baby talk can be activated by low status. Now, there's nothing more low status than a baby. They're totally incompetent, they're helpless. They do nothing but need, and they give very little back. But in the absence of a baby, as is so common with modern women, they will automatically find the most baby-like substitute, often in the form of a worthless little dog, because the weakness and littleness reminds the awful of a baby. That's why it's so important for the media to convince the awful that you are worthless and little. This is emotional programming. A woman knows by instinct how to treat someone who is above her in status and someone who is beneath her. The baby instinct goes down towards people or dogs that are powerless, helpless, or misguided, and she treats them like children who deserve equal snacks. And thanks to the media, the awful believes that no one is more misguided than white men, and no one is more deserving than everyone else. This is why they constantly vote for equality. They see you not as a man, but as the bad baby stealing snacks from.
What's the reputation like for black men? What do black women, what kind of loving statements do you hear across social media from black women about black men in mass? In mass. Right? Hate. Talk down. Ain't no good black men. Worthless. I would hate to be a young bull in this day and age. A young black dude in this day and age with the vitriol that these old wore out whores be talking about these boys. It's amazing the amount of hate. I told you all that shit last night. There was an absolute jarring juxtaposition. People talk shit in the island. Humans are humans. We talk shit. We gonna talk shit. There's other motherfuckers just like me down there. But the way that they address people, the way that society holds the tiniest sliver of civility and respect down there is tenfold anything you could possibly get here. It's ridiculous. The way that women and men even interact during the courtship. Is completely different. It's mind-blowing the way the women talk down to men. Mind-blowing.
From the good baby, so they vote to steal snacks from you to hand out to all the victims who deserve, just like this guy.
And again, it's tribalism, right? It goes all the way back to the tribalism. It goes back to the identity crisis, the identity politics. You go, girl. So now the sisterhood bullshit, right? You gotta blend in with the sisterhood. So now the identity politics kick in. And everybody bands together. No one thinks any differently. And y'all just run off at the mouth talking shit and destroying the fucking community. Destroying the image of you. I mean, you hear it all the time. People are not traveling to the United States to date black women. It's not happening. Brazilian women, yes. Asian women, yes. No one's traveling to the United States en masse to date black American women. I mean, after all, you know how them poor women overseas are. Who wants a favela American black woman? With no rights. Right?
This is where our dating problems become more political and psychological, and that's why I'm expanding more into psychology. There's only so much you can accomplish by lifting weights and buying a nice shirt. You can't make the world function that way. You can only increase your position in the market. Right. And that makes you basically the last man to drown on a sinking ship. If you want to help me keep the ship afloat, you have to understand how your thoughts and your actions actually create your culture and your society, and how they also create you. And women like this are also having their minds created by their culture and their society, which you are also a part of. That's why I made this chart. Do you see the 4 colors? They are the same as the 4 colors here, and I'm going to use this to show you how you and Awfuls are co-creating our culture of disrespect. Here's a quick summary. Modern women are going nuts because they're in denial that they are women, and ironically, this makes them act even more like women. And this all comes from the denial of nature. People at these levels sometimes think that they don't have a lower self, that they can be something other than what they are. But it's not true. Birds are gonna pet.
And it's kind of crazy that that's where these women lie. And it's kind of crazy that they support people who believe that their genders aren't what they really are. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? I mean, that's an odd correlation to draw. Yes, I mean that, full snark.
Heck, and beavers are gonna build. We used to know that men and women were different. Most people with kids will tell you that little boys will make a weapon out of anything, and little girls will make a baby out of anything. Men and women even process visual information differently. We all know how men will open the fridge and not see the thing he's looking for, even though it's right there. That's because we look for where the thing is supposed to be, whereas women scan the entire area. So, men and women are wired differently, which makes us good at different things, and there are people who are offended by that, because they don't want to feel limited by the way they were born, so they just pretend they weren't. That's why childless women apply baby urges to things that are not babies, but then they'll tell you that it's not about babies, even though they're doing baby talk to the most baby-like thing they can find. They are in denial of their nature because they don't want to admit they have one. They don't like the idea that what you are on the outside determines who you are on the inside. They don't want to be trapped by the way they were born, and they really don't want to be trapped by...
Uh-oh, did he just say it? They don't want to be trapped the way they were born. We're just like men, right?
Inside. They don't want to be trapped by the way they were born, and they really don't want to be trapped by your expectations.
And that's why they can support all the weird Wi-Fi shit. That's why they can support that. That's why it just rolls off their tongue that we should just equality, DEI, everything.
Because they don't want to admit they have one. They don't like the idea that what you are on the outside determines who you are on the inside. They don't want to be trapped by the way they were born, and they really don't want to be trapped by your expectations. They don't want to be told the one true way they have to be. So even though this is a problem of unconsciousness, it's happening because they're trying to move higher and they can't get what they need. That's called self-authoring. It's a term by Robert Keegan. Listen again.
We use the names that people tell us.
That means I say who I am, not you. That's self-authoring. And that means I don't want to be told who I am anymore. I don't want to be forced to conform. I want it to be all up to me. She's just using pronoun people as an excuse. The problem is
Right.
when she says, I am who I say I am,
They are telling you who they are. You just need to use your listening ears, friend.
she's not using her listening ears when we say who we are. This is also how you can tell who the bad guy is. She is making demands of you, but your demands are not her problem. She also looks like a beluga whale, and ugly people tend to be evil. So even though she doesn't know it, what she's saying
Damn it. Yeah, he said it.
here is everybody has the right to choose their own identity and to be included, except for you, because you are a socially acceptable punching bag. This is a typical moral failure that shows up at about the 6th level of consciousness. I call it false enlightenment, and it sounds like this. All the different ways of thinking from all the people in all the world are all equally valid. And if you don't agree with that way of thinking, you're the devil. You can be any way you want to be as long as it's just this specific way and none of these. So level 6 wants to understand everyone and include everyone and be included, but then you can't include anybody who wants to have things their own way. And that's most of the world. Recently, a white American girl tried to do this to the entire Muslim world. Listen to this.
If you are a Muslim who is
I can't
transphobic and homophobic, not only are you contributing to the mass killing of LGBTQ people, you are also contributing to the Muslim genocide by giving ammunition to Zionists and other Islamophobes.
Imagine lecturing these people about trans rights. And imagine thinking there's a Muslim genocide when the population is...
See, again, I said it. I'll say it again. Builders of reality versus people who try to twist reality. Can't even conceive of building anything in their lives, but will twist what exists to fit a narrative to make them feel better. Feelings. Again.
shooting straight up. But for the awful, facts do not matter. All that matters is these are her puppies and they need love. They're minor. They're minorities. I mean, if you look only at white countries, they're minorities. The poor babies. It doesn't make any sense, but that's why we don't look to TikTok car girls for moral guidance. Here's how the chart is going so far. I made it chronological, so it'll start in your mind and go to your actions, which go into the world, which then act on awfuls, and then they will have their own thoughts, and they will have their own actions that go into the world and affect you, and it'll go back and forth. There are only two ways I know of to interrupt the baby talk problem. One of them is to just be someone she doesn't want to talk to like that, like a boss or an expert or someone she's attracted to. This is, of course, difficult to do in today's society. Most of us won't be able to get much respect. So the other way is to make her play by her own rules. Just sink down to her level and baby talk her right back. So if she says this,
if you're immediately reprimanding instead of listening and understanding,
baby
if you're
talk back to
offended by
her.
people's lived experiences, you're the problem.
you can go ahead and say something like, but if you don't listen to my lived experience without reprimanding, then that makes you the problem, doesn't it, sweetie? This is a drawing from an old video where the guy is basically saying he feels this, 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 and this, and then the girl sees only one of those four things and then misrepresents it twice. She changes the color and the shape and says, why are you always everything red square? And the guy goes, that's not what I said. I don't agree that that's what I said.
God damn it. If that is not reality, that is absolutely reality.
An example would be something like, I'm worried about the economy, I see problems in education, immigration is a big issue, and technology is too unrestricted. And then she says, why are you so racist? And it's like, well, that's not what I said. You left out most of it, and you distorted the rest of it to fit your cranky feelings.
Absolutely.
So you're really not including my lived experience, are you? So all you're really saying is, everyone matters but me, because I'm a...
And the best part of all of this, I'm just going to spoiler alert. I'm just going to ruin it for everybody. The best part of this is the fact that there are men, bitch-made men, who act exactly like these women. Remember the whole simp discussion in his previous video? The simps will literally follow this shit to a T and even act feminine like these women.
I'm a white guy and I'm bad for no reason, and you're uncomfortable with my lived experience, so how are you not the problem? Here, I did a quick pencil drawing. She should be able to repeat back to you what you think, and if she can't, then by her own words, she's the problem. Awfuls hate it when you do that, because then they can no longer pretend to be morally superior.
Imagine getting into a discussion with a Keisha. Gentlemen, apply as necessary. I've been saying that. It would go no different with Keisha. If you repeat back, you're talking down to me. But you didn't even listen to what I said. You're talking down to me. I'm not a child, but you're talking to me like a child because you're distorting what I'm saying. That's happened to me more than once interacting with our fairer sex.
Are you not the problem? Here, I did a quick pencil drawing. She should be able to repeat back to you what you think, and if she can't, then by her own words, she's the problem. Awfuls hate it when you do that, because then they can no longer pretend to be morally superior.
Yeah, and I did that to a Keisha, and I walked the fuck away. And she had nothing. Can't say shit, can't flip her attitude, can't, and get sassy and bratty. Leave them alone.
So if she wants to be in kindergarten, just make sure she knows she's not the teacher. Here's a quick story about a time that I did both of these at once, and then I'll give you the chart. It's all done. Awfuls were my entire dating pool until I got famous on social media when I was 38. Between 2002 and 2023, I only met one woman who wanted to go out with me and was not insane, and she didn't want to see me again because I didn't make enough money. Every job I applied to for 20 years needed more diversity, so I met an awful at an event and we went to go get midnight tacos, so she was interested in spending time with me, meaning that she liked or respected me, and we were eating in the car and she said that men should be more open to dating trans women. So I said, what do you think that would be like for me? That's me saying, have you considered my lived experience? And she froze and she said, I never thought about it that way. I don't know what other way there is to think about it. You just said men should date transsexuals and I'm a man, so you think I should do that, right? And she basically said, no, I would never get in the car with someone who took my advice that I just gave. What she meant was, these men should be open to doing that. Not the ones I like. They should be getting tacos with me at midnight, but these men should be open to dating each other. This is how you win with awfuls. When they say men have too many girlfriends, they mean these men. And when they say men should date transsexuals, they mean these men. But they don't say that part out loud. They think you should know.
See, and it's always the same thing, right? So when we hear this, young bulls, think about this. When we hear this, when we hear all men are, it's the men they've been dating. It's the men they've been getting played by. It's the men they've been getting laid and slayed by and dumped at the next corner, right? Every 15 minutes, a woman turns 21. They don't realize that, think about that, and are incapable of comprehending that. So when they get that top tier guy, like he's showing right here, an 8, a 9, or a 10 dude, no other dudes exist. Everything else apply, all the negatives all apply to them. And as soon as one of those top 3, that 666, that $180,000, $200,000 a year making dude plays her, all men. But look where you set your sights, to get played. It is what it is. It's the game that they want to play.
Know how they feel. So you have to abandon logic. Don't try to go from here to here. Use her own feelings against her. That's how they decide what reality is. What I did here was I made 2 of her feelings fight. She had one feeling that transsexuals are like babies or puppies and they deserve, and she had another feeling that I was worth getting tacos with. So I said, how do you think I feel when you tell me to date a transsexual? How do you think that makes me feel about you? And she had another feeling. Oops, I just made a guy I like feel bad about me. Oh no, I would never want to live in the world I just recommended. So if you can make her feel good about you, she might listen to you. Women take leadership from men who give them feelings. Or you can make her feel bad about herself. She's not including your lived experience because she sees you as less than human from all the brainwashing.
Absolutely.
And if she still says your lived experience doesn't matter, well then, neither does hers. So you can be in kindergarten, but you can't be the teacher. So you can win with awfuls by being desired or respected, or you can beat them at their own game. Be the biggest deserver in town. Be the table.
We
There it
use the
is.
names that people tell us, remember?
Oh, sorry, sweetie, but I'm just not somebody who sees a girl there. That's the way I was born. And we don't make people have opinions, do we? How would you like it if I said, here's your new boyfriend? Well, then you don't tell me this one's mine, got it, got it? We keep those thoughts to ourselves. Talking down to awfuls works dramatically better than logic, which has absolutely no effect. The awful does not know what it is, and they never will. Awfuls are uneducated, overgrown children, and if you try to explain things to them, they're not going to get it or care. And
Apply to Keisha as necessary.
they will just mark you as low status and exclude you from everything they possibly can. So here's the flowchart. It shows the interaction between two parties and the world they live in. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but you can download it on my Linktree and just follow the arrows.
Go subscribe to HoMath. I already told y'all.
Basically, you are a regular guy, society gets weird, and about 48% of white women go completely insane and start hating themselves and their families in
If we are at a 60-some percentile of babies born out of wedlock in the black community, then I would say the percentage of Keishas is too goddamn high. So we're probably looking at about 60% Keishas. All right? So apply as necessary.
in order to fit into a world that wants them dead anyway.
chick.
They start using female violence
doing,
to
sis?
become enforcers of the status quo, which means mainly gossip, insults, lying, and cancel culture, which means ganging up to exclude anyone who doesn't cooperate.
Sisterhood. The sisterhood. Cancel culture.
And this ruins society. You are then pressured to conform, and you have several choices. I added 4 of them to the chart. You can either be a coward and say what they tell you, which gets you...
And that is the simps. That is you simps. That is why you're so dangerous. That is why we must eugenically remove ourselves from you. That is you simps. This is a universal chart, believe it or not, because so many people in the black community are so far at the bottom of the barrel. You are literally the bottom of the crabs. Literally.
ruins society. You are then pressured to conform, and you have several choices. I added 4 of them to the chart. You can either be a coward and say what they tell you, which gets you access to a few low-quality, promiscuous women on...
There it is. All you simps do is fuck bottom barrel bitches. Why? I get it. It's your level. I get it. But you can't do a little bit better with yourself? Just being lazy is just the pinnacle of your existence, isn't it, bro? It's just the pinnacle of your existence. So you just perpetuate shit. Shit in, shit out.
SSRIs for mood disorders, or
absolutely.
you can either be a coward and say what they tell you, which gets you access to a few low-quality, promiscuous women on SSRIs for mood disorders, or you can try to act all morally superior and waste your time using logic on people who will never know what it is or why it matters, which gets you nothing and makes you a target. Or you can be somebody who is desired or respected, and then some awfuls will change their opinions to match yours. They will never know why they did it. They didn't know where their opinions came from in the first place. Or, and this is the most effective choice for most of us most of the time, you can just play their game better than them. Make them look bad. Show how they're excluding your feelings. Be the biggest baby in the room and show them how much you deserve. They can't be victims if they are victimizing you. This is the drama triangle. I'll go over it more another time. Basically, this is the dragon, the princess, and the knight in shining armor. This is Batman, the Joker, in Gotham City. Awfuls are always either playing victim so that they can deserve from you, or playing hero so they can help other victims deserve from you. You need to put them in the role of bad guy by saying, look how you hurt me. I took you out for tacos and you told me to marry this thing. Don't waste your time talking about the definition of a woman. They don't care about logic, only feelings. When you tell me this is my new girlfriend, that hurts my feelings. You are reprimanding instead of listening and understanding my lived experience. Basically, you have to talk to them like they are dumb babies, because they are. It also helps if you can get non-awful women on your side. Women just make better victims. There's never a princess in shining armor saving a prince.
No.
So the only way to fix the baby talk problem is to either lead them in a different direction, which is going to be difficult because you're competing with the mass media, university.
Yeah, we're not here to lead, gentlemen. We're not here to lead. We're here to save ourselves. We're here to save our money. We're here to invest. And we're here to retire early. And that's it. The United States, the West, as it's called, and anything that the West name of culture applies to is basically for sport. And that's it. Now, if you want to take the psychomath route and you have time to invest, okay, because this is time. If you have time in your short lifespan to invest in this, then this is for you. If you are looking for something different, you are looking for something a little real, you are looking for less of this, America's not for you. And that's simply the facts. The West is not for you. Go elsewhere. Save, invest, retire early.
Lead them in a different direction, which is going to be difficult because you're competing with the mass media, universities, and the government, or just use their dumb little games against them. Again, a lot of these women are just trying to grow up, but they're doing it wrong. They're trying to say, I don't need to conform to your expectations. My life is up to me. But then they try to make you conform to theirs, and theirs are not as good. Awfuls have become what they hated. They said, don't boss me around, and then they boss you around. They said, I don't want to be just a baby factory, and then they turned the entire world into babies. And
Yeah, anybody notice how many Keishas have cats these days? Now, I remember back in the day that having a cat was some kind of weird shit to black women.
they are fighting for people who are a threat to themselves. These are deeply broken, dangerous mental patients. They are the bad guy. Don't let them make you the bad guy. And remember, logic never works. I once told a friend of mine that men and women don't think in the same way, and she gave me a 10-minute lecture in a baby voice, which was the best possible proof that men and women don't think in the same way, but she did not get it. On the other hand, when I said, "You hurt my feelings by telling me to take this on a date," I took control of the situation. Whether or not they know it, awfuls are manipulating you. Manipulate them right.
Again, Keishas, all right? Apply as necessary per your ethnicity, race.
To take this on a date, I took control of the situation. Whether or not they know it, awfuls are manipulating you. Manipulate them right back. Remember to like, share, follow, subscribe.
Like, share, follow, and subscribe to HoMath. But again, the caveat there is if you feel that doing the work here, all this shit he showed, if this is worth your time, your energy, and your money, because if things go wrong and you marry a woman in the West, your money is gone. Okay? You have a child, you now have a new complication. Along with that woman, your money is double gone. So, gentlemen, please choose wisely. If you are willing to go through all of these steps and mental games, I'm just going to stop right there and say, fuck this shit. We don't have time for this. And it is time for us as a community to recognize when you see individuals that are pushing you to have to manipulate and or adjust to play games. You simps need to stop. You cowards. You need to stop. You are feeding the sickness. But we're not here to instruct you. We're here to instruct the other people who want something better, right? Eugenics. You separate yourself from the simps. You separate yourself from the women that are going to make you jump through hoops like this. There is nothing good on the other side of this. This is the game that everyone aspires to play. I choose not to fucking play this game. There is no reason for it. If you didn't catch my last podcast, go catch that team replay. It was last night's show. I'm back. Insomnia. Your boy C.I.P. made a very, very, very important announcement. I spent upwards to 18 hours this week starting a new business. That's 18 hours I didn't have the complication of some nagging woman over my shoulder. That's 18 hours I didn't have a nagging woman and a child I love over my shoulder. Take my advice, gentlemen. Save, invest, and retire early. Build something. Don't be like all the rest of the emotional and tribal and identity-based thinkers that are out there. Seek knowledge and build something for yourself. Do the hard work behind it. Eugenics, and leave the hood behind. Go on a fucking adventure. All right. Next up. Let me go on and drop the HOMAF in the chat. Derek Gaines, I seen you show up, sir. Thank you so much for stopping by. Mixed chick, I did holler you out, sis. I did shout you out.
And if you hear this song, then go and bend your back. Go and bend your knees, baby, shake it to the max.
What's up, sis? It's good to see you. Mr. Gaines, as always, good to see you. All right, we get into the main event now. Sinners at the Oscars. This is Professor Black Truth. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a rather FBA aligned. Gentlemen, if you have not subscribed to Professor Black Truth, please go do so. I do not 100% agree with everything Professor Black Truth says, but I absolutely will big him up and respect the man for his position and what he speaks. I will also say that while I do not agree with everything the man says, I definitely stand as an opposing side of the same coin with this man. Now, what he is going to cover is going to fall right in line with mental eugenics. There's been far too much of media consumption. Period. Point blank. Fuckery is at an all-time high because everybody needs that cortisol apathy. We need that cortisol apathy. Make me, where we at? Make me feel good.
Just make me feel good.
There we go.
Just make me feel good. I want to feel good.
There we go.
Just make me feel good. Just
That's what
make me
everybody's out
feel
here wants
good.
today. That's what everybody wants. Fuckery. 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. I don't give a fuck about your subscribers. I'm not on no subscriber supremacy. I do this shit for fun, right? I do this shit for fun. I know it's hard for people to understand. I said it twice. I do it for fun. These fucks, 3, 4, 15,000 fucking views just to watch men and women disrespect and hate one another. And then you black fucks do it on panels. And then you black fucks, Anton Daniels, think that you're going to be some kind of millionaire speaking knowledge into people, but you still talk about fucking whores. It's time for us as black people and people in general to start a eugenics movement and separate ourselves from these fucks in our communities. Call out the whores, call out these bastards, and separate ourselves. It is that simple. The consumption of mass media and fuckery has poisoned our culture. Let's go ahead and listen to what Professor Black Truth has to say. Your boy C.I.P. will be chiming in as we go along. Actually, Derek, I'm going to tell you right now, based on what I feel, it shouldn't have won no fucking award from those people. All right? Martin Luther the King, if that's all you want to celebrate for fucking February and Black History Month, and you want to be a Rainbow Coalition, and you want to be a Jesse Jackson Rainbow Coalition kid, do that. But when it comes to the Academy Award, when it comes to the fucking BAFTAs, when it comes to the fucking NFL, when it comes to the NBA, I don't give a fuck about those organizations and how they represent black people. I never have. And I have never had more wind in my sails than when I heard Professor Black Truth talk about the same thing. Again, he's FBA. He probably won't like me for shit. Because again, I'm a half-breed, double tether. I stack tether on top of tether just so the haters would hate me more. So let's get into it.
If you're not already subscribed to this YouTube channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button now, along with the bell icon so you can be notified whenever a new video is posted. And if you're already subscribed, check and make sure that YouTube hasn't unsubscribed you. And of course, be sure to give the video a like as well as share it on your social media. The white supremacists hate that. And now, the Sunday address. Before we begin this evening address, be sure to listen until the very end for a special announcement. I have to preface by saying I feel the same way about the Oscars that I feel about the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals or the World Series.
And that was it. That was all I needed to hear. I was immediately captured. I sat through my workday and I listened to the rest of this from start to finish. 24 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Fair use. Wind it back just a little bit.
Hate that. And now the Sunday address. Before we begin this evening address, be sure to listen until the very end for a special announcement. I have to preface by saying I feel the same way about the Oscars that I feel about the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals or the World Series. I don't care because the
and you know what? Add the NFL draft to that. I have never in my life seen a more modern slave trade than when I see the NFL draft. There's nothing, a bunch of niggas standing up on a podium and you're just voting on them. I'll take that nigga right there. Y'all don't see that, but you see the millions of dollars the niggers are making, right? Fucking idiots.
The same racist billionaires who own these so-called sports teams and sports leagues are no different, and in many cases, they're the exact same people who own these white media companies. Nothing happens in a vacuum under white supremacy. I also don't know that much about Ryan Coogler, the guy who wrote the script for Sinners and directed it. The last time I said anything about a movie he made was when I criticized the hell out of Black Panther. That was years ago. And by the way, just for the record, I haven't seen Black Panther or its sequel. I did watch Sinners, though, in response to the attacks that it was receiving in the last few weeks. And frankly, while vampire movies aren't my cup of tea, I can see why so many people like this movie, and more importantly, why its detractors hated it so much. I guess that's just a long-winded way of saying just because I don't like a particular medium or don't like a particular thing, that doesn't mean that I don't have the ability to understand it or to understand the people who may like it. Today is the night of the Oscars, and all eyes are going to be on Michael B. Jordan and Sinners. For the white media, I'm betting they're going to try to use this as an opportunity to manufacture a redemption arc for themselves. They're very skilled at that with the white media. After the BAFTA scandal and the outpouring of support for Jordan and Delroy Lindo, I wouldn't be surprised if there were...
Okay, and some vocabulary words here. BAFTAs, that's the British Oscars, okay? All right.
Was some half-brained feeble gesture made during the ceremony to try to make it seem like the white media types in the U.S. aren't as racist as those creeps over there in Britain. Oh, they know what time it is, right? You see, the United States is not Britain. And the kind of garbage you can get away with over there, you can't pull that over here. This is the United States, where black folks actually stand up for themselves. But more importantly, the United States is an important country, Britain not so much. So over here, things actually matter. And that's what they're probably worrying about over there in Britain. They're probably got their knees knocked.
He said what he said.
Knocking and going, I sure hope that our cousins over there across the pond are going to be covering for us and not let anything too untoward happen. The attempt to use the BAFTAs as a springboard to further push and normalize open, blatant public anti-black racism, that didn't happen in a vacuum. Trying to use a phony claim of mental disability as a bulletproof shield to hide behind failed. The racist liars were so eager to say, well, he doesn't have to apologize. Nobody should have to apologize. They gave the entire game away. They weren't trying to defend any so-called disability. They were trying to defend the use of anti-black racial slurs. And what they thought was black folks were going to otherwise be off balance or that we were going to be backing down. Instead, we tripled down. And it was more than just the usual white supremacist trash who like to clog the comment section. Keep in mind, a lot of the so-called accounts who are posting support for this Davidson creep are bots. Just keep that in mind. You got a lot of folks who want to make sure that this stuff gets pushed. They know they don't have the kind of support that they need, but they also know that too many people spend too much time online, and that maybe, just maybe, this will influence someone. Yeah, the gullible. But this evening address is not about getting
the bottom barrel thinkers.
Something from these.
Yeah, I can agree with that, Derek. He does. He almost sounds like a Jason Black. He's Jason Black level.
Bastards. This is about taking things away. Now, there's a lot of those Negroes.
Now, I'll tell you what, I'm no fan of Jason Black, but that's just my thing.
Who were there for the NAACP awards, but understand these people will switch on a dime. Like when Snoop Dogg called out Gail King, after she tried to smear Kobe Bryant after he and his daughter died. But then the white media began to put some pressure on him, and he immediately folded. Just because people were in attendance for that NAACP event, we should be very careful to keep an eye out to see who decides that they're going to be backsliding or otherwise going back on the alleged show of support.
Right.
Just keep in mind, most of those Negroes, they were there because they'll show up for anything that's got a camera. I mean, Don Lemon of all people was there, so that should tell you everything you need to know. And I know people are not going to like this, but I'm hoping that Michael B. Jordan never winds up going back on BBC television or even to the BAFTAs. I would be disappointed, though not surprised, if Delroy Lindo did. After all, he's British. He was born in Britain. I'm not saying that either of those two men will do it. I'm just saying that stranger things have happened. But even if they do refrain from gracing those pigs over there in Britain with their presence, and I for one hope that they hold the line, unfortunately, there's simply too many watered-down sorry Negroes who are desperate to get a pat on the head or desperate to be in front of some white media's camera. You know that some of them will only be too jolly in the behind to give some white media outlet a helpful quote about how black folks are all about forgiveness and moving on, and we understand. That's what they usually do. Find some bought and paid for bootleg, put them in front of the cameras, and go ahead and give them plenty of coverage, give them plenty of attention, make them prominent. We'll go ahead and say that we caught up with Stacey Dash over at the Five and Dime swap meet, and she said, oh, she didn't have any problems with what John Davidson did, and he didn't need to say that he was sorry. Oh, we already know he didn't mean anything, and it's much ado about nothing, and black folks don't have any hard feelings. I'm the official spokesperson for black people, and I say the black folks weren't offended at all. Oh, and be sure to subscribe to my Instagram, etc., etc. So we know that that's always a possibility. But as far as Jordan and Lindo holding the line, they should,
because that's where you get the industry plants from.
Shouldn't be alone. These other Negroes in Hollywood should be putting their foot down on this one too. I never thought that I'd be giving a word of praise to Jamie Foxx of all people, but the truth of the matter is he hasn't gone back on what he said. He rebuked that scumbag, and he decided, hey, I'm not taking back one word of it. I respect that, because as we saw with some other individuals, not every black person who takes a moral stand actually does stand. A lot of them sit right back down again when Massa looks at them funny. And I'm not saying that anybody should go ahead and give some acceptance speech at the Oscars saying, oh, and
because it's all about the paycheck in the end, bro.
those scumbags at BAFTAs are all a bunch of racist trash. But what I am saying is a vocal, open boycott by all Black American actors would put a lot of heat on them. But I don't suggest this is a means to an end. The goal isn't to shame those scumbags into doing something or to do anything. They're already a shame as it is. This is about making a display that Black folks have the ability to make one of these white little institutions toxic and then radioactive. Because what they did should carry a price, an ongoing price, the kind that makes everybody look and say, man, these guys went ahead and put their foot up these folks' behinds and kept it there. If Black American actors as a group made it a point to refuse to have anything to do with the BBC or the BAFTAs or any of that garbage
Oh, but boss, you telling me to bite the hand to feed me. I can't bite the hand to feed me, boss.
programming over there, nobody would be able to ignore that. After all, they like to have their occasional token Negro on their stupid little shows. And more than that, Black American actors are in the biggest movies of the year. Their absence from those award shows or from British programming would speak volumes, especially because they're usually there all the time, including Michael B. Jordan. White actors from the US would look awkward attending the BAFTAs, and a few of them, especially the ones who rely on a 4-quadrant audience, would bow out. Again, I'm not talking about people counting on that happening. What I'm saying is an open and concerted movement of Black American actors declaring that they're never attending the BAFTAs again, and then actually following up by doing that, that would make a statement. Black American talent is making enough award-worthy movies on its own, certainly enough blockbusters, that their absence cannot be ignored. Now, do I think that this is actually going to happen? Honestly, not 100% to put it mildly. But if enough of the working Black American actors stick to their guns for once, then that will still make sure the message gets across loud and clear. Because what are all of these other so-called celebrities going to be saying for their own attendance? There's an old saying about controlling the controllables. The same people pretending to defend this Davidson creep and saying that he shouldn't apologize because he can't control what he says, they're the exact same people who demand an apology from Kanye West, a man who it's known suffers from mental illness. So why are they demanding an apology from someone who they know can't control what he says? Why should Kanye West ever apologize? You have not...
It's a hypocritical double sword based on the relative conditions and the situation. People are going to be hypocrites. They're going to be hypocrites.
Heard anybody in the white media,
and they're not going to fuck with their money.
Not even one individual saying, oh, he's not responsible for what he says, even though they all know the man suffers from mental illness. People have been watching him spiral for years.
I mean, bro, you're talking to them at Massa's show. They are literally at Massa's show. Like, come on, man.
Years. And if Kanye West is responsible for his words, regardless of his mental condition, because his...
But see, he can speak this. I can call out the same kind of corruption in media and in entertainment. All this backhanded bullshit. I can point out the fact that I know people that have sat in NFL meetings that sound like fucking slave trade meetings. But that's not going to change anything. It's not going to change anything because everybody's at that level 1, 2, and 3 mental level. I only matter. Your satisfaction only matters. Being immersed in fuckery in an abject institution of fuckery that is draining you of your life. The most precious thing we have on earth is time. Time, and we'll get into families shortly. Time you can be spending with your goddamn bastards. Breeders. Now see, Professor here, I think he's got an audience that he's trying to appeal to. The 50 some odd thousand subscribers he got. The other side of the coin, my little 570 some subscribers, I don't give a fuck. I will tell you about how fucked up families are, and I will say it with my whole goddamn chest. What they're responsible for. As soon as you fucking breed, your life changes. I don't give a fuck who you are. We'll talk about that in a minute.
His words were offensive, then why should someone like John Davidson get a pass? Answer, he shouldn't. And while we're on the subject of white society giving itself a pass and bestowing innocence on itself, and we're also on the subject of the Oscars, that reminds me of someone else, George Clooney. When he won an Oscar back in 2006, during his acceptance speech, he tried to blackwash the racist past of the Oscars by invoking Hattie McDaniel of all people.
Yep, you know, we are a little bit out of touch in Hollywood every once in a while, I think. It's probably a good thing. We're the ones who talk about AIDS when it was just being whispered. And we talked about civil rights when it wasn't really popular. And we... Come on, bro. You know, we bring up subjects. We were the ones, this academy, this group of people gave Hattie McDaniel an Oscar in 1939 when blacks were still sitting in the backs of theaters. I'm proud to be a part of this academy. Proud to be part of this community. I'm proud to be...
Look how far we've come was the message. Look how open-minded and progressive Hollywood is. We are so ahead of the rest of the society, blah, blah, blah. And then a few years later, Hollywood made The Help, a movie about black women as maids, which basically flies in the face of what George Clooney thought that he was saying. All of his self-serving preening and grandstanding. And yet you got Hollywood, as usual, proving that none of that's the truth. They always try to use black people as proof that they're not a gang of moral wretches. Oh, we're not so bad. Look at our little Negro mascot over here. And they always try to speak for us. George Clooney didn't have any black people up there saying, oh, look at all the progress that these good white media types have made. That's not what happened. He said, oh, I'll go ahead and do it myself. They don't bring any black people on stage to say, okay, these white folks here, they aren't racist anymore. Instead, as always, they try to bestow innocence on themselves. They attempt to perpetrate a fraud, as if black people are the proof of their newfound innocence, when in reality, we're the proof of their never-ending guilt. I've said a million times and will continue to say the white media is not in the business of entertainment. They're in the business of mind control. And that being the case, you better learn to control your mind.
And the other part of this, too, is, before he moves on, the virtue signaling. We talked about this. You know, if you're a virtue signaling simp, if you're a virtue signaling awful, if you're a virtue signaling Karen, if you're a virtue signaling Keisha, doesn't matter. You're virtue signaling. You're spewing shit that you have no idea about. You're not even staying in your own fucking lane. Simps aren't masculine, they're bitch made. They're just illustrating feminine fucking emotions out their fucking mouths. On down the line. Everything that Homath just talked about with the awfuls, apply it to the Keishas, on down the line.
Unless you want somebody else to do it for you.
Virtue
A lot of people are feeling very comfortable with putting their anti-black racism on full display, but it didn't start with the orange man. And it's not limited to the bottom feeders of the MAGA crowd either. For example, recently you had the case of Hunter College professor Allison Friedman, who was caught on video during a group chat going ahead and saying all of this anti-black gibberish. And this woman's supposed to be an educator. Now, Friedman is a Jewish name. And that's usually associated with liberalism, as we have the white media tell us. But Jonathan Greenblatt and the Anti-Defamation League are nowhere to be seen. Same way we didn't see these guys when you had all of those college Republicans at Florida International University who were posting hundreds of N-word chats, and these guys are being bold about it. Guess they don't consider this to be defamatory either, or perhaps Greenblatt's lips were still superglued to Benjamin Netanyahu's rump. Who can say? But this Friedman woman, who I'm sure would describe herself as liberal, look at what it is that she...
I don't know. Is BB still alive, allegedly? I don't know.
She says. She tried to white-splain it away by saying, oh, I was talking to one of my children. She's trying to use one of her kids as a human shield. That tells you how much moral courage she has. Obviously, nobody's buying that garbage, but for the sake of argument, if she actually was telling the truth, that makes it worse. Because what that means is she is teaching unadulterated anti-black racism to her own children. Well, this is the reason why it gets passed down from one generation to the next. It's not just television and movies and evil orange politicians. This stuff is taught in the home. And at some...
You know, that's crazy. This stuff is taught in the home. This stuff has actually permeated ever since the beginning of time. Like, people don't remember, people don't even know. I know a lot of people that are out here are millennials and younger generations, but they don't even know the level of vile behavior people had back in the day. 10 years before I was born, even. It was vile across the United States. My next door neighbor, because we were one of the first black families in Cleveland Heights to live on that road, on that street. They didn't want us there. They didn't want my father buying that house. And they made it known. The shit's been around forever. What makes you think you're special watching and being a constant force of money? A constant feeding force. All the streaming services, all the subscription services. You are the literal conduit to be bled dry your 80 short years here on earth. Bled dry of your finances. All for this bullshit.
At some point, the dominant society has to be held accountable for the fact that they've been teaching this racism as a nonstop diet of evil pumped straight into the veins of their own progeny. The era of Donald Trump made people more comfortable with showing who they are, but it's been going on the whole freaking time.
Absolutely. What did I just say?
And truth be told, if you got people like Allison Friedman, and you also got people like John Davidson and the Baptists going ahead and showing their true colors, that's a good thing. Because our enemies are outing themselves. And it's a brand new day, the same way that we don't allow the denizens of white supremacy to bestow innocence on themselves and decide that they're going to tell everybody, see, I've absolved myself of all of my sins and crimes. We also don't allow them to get any Negro mascots out there to do it for them. And
know thy enemy and let them talk long enough. Gentlemen, we say it when we talk about females and their issues. Let them talk long enough. They'll talk themselves into a hole. It's no different. Let your enemy talk long enough.
And yes, I do think that it's very important that you have high-profile black people who make it a point to say, hey, we're not going to be fooling with the BAFTAs anymore or the BBC, and to actually stand on it. One of our biggest sins.
They're not going to fuck with their paychecks, bro. They're not going to fuck with their paychecks and the exposure and what they do. They're not political figures. They're actors. Now, it'd be nice if the actors and entertainers did like James Corbin and stayed in their fucking lane. Shut the fuck up. Stand on the stage and make me laugh. Funny little white man. That's it. Run the football for me. Stupid little black man. That's it. Sing a song and dance on stage for me, Kanye. Be the little steppin' and fetch it monkey that they love to watch in blackface back in the 30s. That's what you are. I don't need you to talk about Jewish people. I don't need you to talk about anything political. I don't need you to be wearing a mag. Dance on fucking stage, you monkey. But they don't stand for anything. Money. Money. And we are so quick to run up behind them sniffing their ass. And we ain't got 2 fucking cents to rub together. But Tulsa, Oklahoma. But Tulsa. But the racist whites destroyed Tulsa. Feelings. You ain't got 2 cents to rub together, no 2 cents in your motherfucking head to rebuild and be something bigger than Tulsa. You want to sit around every motherfucking February and cry about it.
Sins, at least in terms of politics, has been that we have been consistently inconsistent. Black people have been very good to show outrage for a few minutes and get a lot of attention doing so, and then, next thing you know, back to business as usual. I want you to...
Back to business as usual. Fuckery. Absolute fuckery.
...to be as disgusted with these creeps as I am. I read the comments, by the way, and I see that someone will mention a particular TV show or a movie, and then when that happens, I see so many others who can't help but to chime in on it, as if basically this was an entertainment channel. When it comes to entertainment, black people oversample on that stuff. That means that we basically disproportionately watch it. You love the stuff that the white media puts on. I'm not saying that you're against black empowerment if you have a favorite TV show, but let's be honest. A lot of you have totally invested into these propaganda pieces. This is how white power gets its hooks into your mind.
How many of you spent how many seasons? How many hours on your lazy asses watching Game of Thrones? I couldn't tell you the first fucking thing about that show, and I don't give two shits about that fucking show. Fuck George R.R. Martin. Fuck the millions of dollars that motherfucker made off y'all's backs. Y'all dumb motherfuckers sat there and fed that white boy all that money. What business did you start during the time that you were watching Game of Thrones to match what that man made off of your back? Oh, you can't talk about my show. It's a pretty good show, man. No, bro. No, bro. For real, though, bro. No, for real, though, bro. For real, though, bro. There's dragons and there's incest. It's great. It's great, bro. You gotta watch it, bro. Fuck you. Whoever you are. Fuck you. You wasted all that fucking time. What is the most important thing we have in our 80 to 90 short years here on Earth? Time. Time with your kids, time building yourself up, time going to fucking counseling because you're a broken piece of shit that's destroying other people as you go along. Broken people, hurt people, hurt people. The time. Watching fuckery on YouTube. Panels of people hating on each other. Men hating women. The time.
Mind. The word entertain means to hold. So when you watch white media content, they've got you in their grip. They've got you. Your eyes and ears and your mind, that's the battlefield that the enemy's waging war inside of. And through their media, they have ways to hold your mind in bondage. That's why it's important to them to try to concoct something that hopefully you'll watch and hopefully not be able to peel your eyes away from. And once they do that, now they can go ahead and start giving your brain all of these insidious little lies. Oh, right. It's not going to be anything quite as blatant as black people are to blame for their own.
And it's easy to say the white media. Game of Thrones is low-hanging fruit. That's just pure white fuckery storytelling bullshit to waste your time. But we got our black fuckery over here on YouTube. We got our black fuckery on Tubi. The most precious thing you have is time.
Problems, and that white supremacy isn't really that big an issue, and oh, you need to ignore all of these black empowerment types, and hey, we need to overlook all of the anti-black racism, or at least most of it. It's not going to be that blatant. Instead, it's going to be a few lies here, a couple of falsehoods there. It's all going to be about plausible deniability. Nobody's going to actually say, well, we should be calling black people the N-word with no repercussions. Instead, they will vigorously, even violently defend anyone who does. That's how it actually operates.
And then the blacks will do what? What did I say at the beginning of this? Mental apathy, cultural apathy, religious apathy, social. There it is right there. Social apathy. Oh, but I'm going to go watch my Game of Thrones. Oh, you're not going to tell me to turn off my Game of Thrones because they said the word nigger. Okay. All right. All right. You know, every motherfucking owner of the motherfucking NFL has been a racist piece of white shit. You still fucking watch it. Okay. I know what you about. I know exactly what you black people are about. What did I say before? I don't give a fuck about the Oscar awards. I don't give a fuck about franchise teams. Sports. I stand on mine. I don't give a fuck. As far as I'm concerned, every black athlete should be a motherfucking top of the line doctor. But I get it. I get it. I get it. At the building of the pyramids, rock breakers were there for a reason. I have to remind myself of this. This is America, right? This is America. We can't expect too much.
Let some other fool out here like John Davidson or whomever, let them step across the line, and then they all get behind him and say, you shouldn't be coming down on him. He didn't do anything wrong, and even if he did, you people just need to get over it. Well, that's exactly what the massive success of Sinners has done. It's telling them, you need to get over this. They shut up about it afterwards, by the way. When the movie debuted, you didn't have all of these people deciding, oh, let's go ahead and see if we can do some online hit pieces against it. At least not the usual chattering heads, the Ben Shapiros and such. They saw how well the movie was doing, how big it was. As far as they were concerned, we can't even afford to attack it. We can't say anything about it. We're just going to be adding to its name recognition, bringing attention to it. And when you see how great it's doing at the box office, well, that's just going to be adding fuel to the fire. So it's best to just shut up and not say anything at all. That's one of the things I've always told you. When you actually get the better of these scumbags, don't expect for them to ever admit, okay, you were right. They're never going to do that. Instead, their admission will take the form of silence. See, as long as we're kept without our power, then for the dominant society, anti-black racism is a victimless crime, or at least it's one that carries no punishment. There's no real peril that the current order will fall. Black culture can be strip-mined freely, and it can be raped, pillaged, and plundered, and they can act like vultures, and while they can't do anything without us, we don't have the infrastructure in place that allows us to challenge them either. It basically is the ethno-socioeconomic equivalent of a stalemate. Except the problem is, they still have the upper hand. But of course, because white supremacy is a house of cards, it's all a fraud, they require some sort of in-your-face display that assures them, well, these Negroes, they may seem as if they're winning, and yeah, we know they've got the pulse, but we can go ahead and give them the middle finger, and then they still have to come back to us afterwards, just so we can remind them, yeah, you got the pulse, you got the energy, basically without you guys, we might as well not exist, and yeah, we're vulturing off of you, but you know what? You still got to come back to us anyway, so there's nothing you can do about it. That's the psychic benefits of white supremacy for these people. That's how these guys actually manage to, at least in their minds, live with the fact that black folks actually do have the energy and they don't. We see this at sports arenas all the time. You always got all of these racist folks who like to hurl anti-black vitriol and invective at the black athletes. This is basically their way of being able to live with themselves. That's the reason why all those white folks in Hollywood, you didn't see any of them taken to the parapets and going, what the BAFTAs did was just dead wrong. No, instead it was just one big wall of quiet. And as we all know, silence equals assent. The deal that Ryan Coogler made with Warner Brothers when he made Sinners, it mandates that he gets the rights to it back in 25 years. It's his intellectual property. He created it. Yeah, it made a lot of money, but he's also going to get it back. And given the massive success of that movie, it's going to be worth something in 25 years. It's not as if the movie's not going to be worth anything in 25 years. It will be. And he's the one who's actually going to reap the benefits of it. Now, how many white actors, directors, or even producers in Hollywood can say that? Typically with black actors, if they get an Oscar, it's for...
Damn, shout out Coogler. Now that is a money move. That is a smart move.
For playing a slave, a mammy of some sort, or some other kind of disparaging depiction. They always like to do that mess. That's what the white bosses of the Academy want people to think is Oscar bait.
What's good, Knots? Good to see you, bro. How you doing? I seen you was live earlier, bro. My bad. I was working, man. Man, I've been working my butt off, bro. On the grind.
At least for black actors. But in the case of Sinners, the ending of the movie alone, that made it where I think, well, this movie does deserve an Oscar. Go ahead and give it an Oscar, give it an Emmy, put it in the National Archives, whatever they got. Because while I may not know movies, I definitely know what I like. And if any of the racists decide that they got something to say about it, then you make sure to tell the bastards, hey, it's just a movie. Good evening. And be one. As mentioned.
There it is. There it is. And your boy C.I.P., I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. And I didn't need a co-pilot to say it as well. But what I did need was the other side of the coin. Because it's not just me in some weird half-breed, double tether mentality. Oh, wait. What was it he called me? A colonizer. A double colonizer now, I guess, right? I'm going to go colonize all over the island of my father, and I'm going to colonize all over America, the fuck ever that means. More emotional tribal bullshit, right? Because the blackity McBlackblacks, no offense, Professor Black Truth, but the blackity McBlackblacks would be quick to pop fly and say some shit like that. They'll be quick to say that. As soon as you hurt their feelings, they don't want you to be part of the group. You're not part of the tribe, right? Because you don't identify as a blackity McBlackblack. So it's feelings over the cognition, over the understanding that, again, the double tether half-breed was right. Was absolutely fucking right. We need to support and celebrate eugenics. Again, not in the traditional sense, as the man with the little mustache, but in the 2026 sense. This mental apathy, this cultural apathy, this religious apathy, the social apathy, the hate we spew. Absolute hate we spew back and forth to one another. They don't call it a gender war for no reason. Because y'all are some pathetic fucks. Nothing is true and everything is permitted. And y'all just taking everything to the max. Everything but knowledge. Everything but good choices. Sacrifice everything for feelings, everything for identity, everything for tribalism. Sacrifice your children. Sacrifice your children. You fucks can't even do biology right. Be better people, y'all. Be better people. Seek knowledge and evolve, my friends. Seek knowledge and evolve. Professor Black Truth, thank you very, very much, sir, for your contribution this evening. I'm going to go ahead and drop your link in the chat. Make sure that my viewers can also go check you out. As always, I throw roses to everyone that I react to over here on the channel. Professor Black Truth, you might not know it, bro, but you are now a friend of the show. Like I said, we are two sides of the same coin. Your approach is the pro-black approach. My approach is, I'm just a black dude in America, bro. I'm just a black dude in America, and I just want better. I just want better. I'd like to see that. But with that, the world around me is not an absolute reality. So I have to choose, and I have to explore this vast world. Got to get those answers. I got to get those answers, y'all. What you limit yourself to and what you experience is your own responsibility. We've had a wonderful night this evening, y'all. We had a wonderful night this evening. Your boy is flagrant as ever. I'm back in the studio, back on my bullshit with these melanated math topics, back on my bullshit with eugenics all 2026. All 2026. Divest yourself of fuckery. Cleanse your soul. That's all I'm asking y'all to do. Choose wisely. Choose wisely. You only have one life to live, y'all. It is a short life. Peace. Be good to yourselves. I love y'all.